All right, after that last episode, I really don't want to watch anymore because it's so awful. And that's why I don't watch these anymore. It's such bad theater, such a joke, so absurd. Listening to these people. I mean, here's the man who has more than doubled the bureaucracy since he came in. Went on and on about his great Vision 2030 for 3 years, and then did a U-turn, and now there's a $300 million deficit. And these sock puppets had nothing but praise for his wonderful performance. So this is what we're dealing with here. This is exactly like the Trump show, but it's a TriMet version. It's like Trump and his cronies get up there and they talk to us, and we know it's all garbage, but we have to listen to them. And this is the same position we're in with this. They're gonna tell us how great everything is. We know it's not true, but this is what government does. I mean, it's an amazing situation that our own tax dollars pay for this fucking show that's against the taxpayers. I mean, it's like the government wants to destroy its own citizens who are the ones that are paying the taxes, and that's what's going to happen here. All the people on the bottom are going to get crushed. The people in the middle are going to be on the bottom, and all you're going to have is the very, very rich and the very, very poor, and then the people that live in tar paper shacks. That's where it's all heading. And this clown show here is a very good personal representation of just how bad things are in the society in general. Anyway, we're going to get to hear from His Highness himself now. So this will be the last thing I'm going to do, and then I don't know if I'll ever do it again, because watching this is so toxic. I just can't stand it.
Manager DESUE for his monthly report. General Manager.
First of all, President Lewis, members of the board, the public, our staff, thank you for being here. And what I did want to say to you and the board is just thank you for believing in me. Also, when I moved to Portland was my utopia. And when I came here...
Yeah, now what is it? It's your shithole. And you contributed to making it a shithole.
I seen trains going north and south, east and west, buses all over the place, people walking, communication was...
An idiot. This guy's an idiot.
It was great, and I knew that this was home for me. So thank you all for believing in me and my team, executive team, and also the 3,600 employees that work for TriMet. Really appreciate it, and all of our friends and partners. And
yeah, you're so good, Sam. Yeah, it's heartfelt.
Consultants that's here, really appreciate you as well.
The consultants that's here, he doesn't even speak proper English.
Good morning, and in my report this morning, I will review ridership data for you for June, July, and August of this year. I'll provide a brief update on our budget, also following the legislature's special session, and then I'm going to provide our outreach activities taking place this month, next month.
So in other words, as usual, he's not going to discuss anything important. He's going to just go right by any kind of issue that would make them look bad. He won't bring it up.
As we work through the proposed service cuts with the community. With the budget in mind.
With the community. I don't know how many people believe this crap, but I'm sure a very large segment do.
Making changes to our executive leadership structure. You'll hear about our operations analysis report, as well as our monthly safety and security report with movement with our...
They spent $70 million on safety and security. That doesn't even provide safety and security. It's basically nothing.
Transit police staffing. And then our safety and security efforts were front and center with lawmakers in Washington, D.C., and also in Boston, which I will review as well. And then I'm going to tell you about an award that really excites me and the organization that our TriMet maintenance department just won at the national level. And then finally, we'll will recognize one of our great lift operators who's here with us. So we have a lot to get to, so I'll start by ridership. So this morning, we have some catching up to do. I've not presented ridership since June, so I'll briefly cover the past 3 months. In June, we provided 5.6 million total rides, increasing ridership more than.
A ride is not a person, by the way. Well, he doesn't tell us the statistic on how many people are riding. They use rides, which is every time a person gets on and off a bus. It's not really accurate statistic. We'd like to know how many people are using the place.
1% over June of 2024. In July, we provided 5.7 million rides, making a 5% increase in ridership over July 2024. And to give some perspective there, that 5% represents an additional 62,500 rides for the month of July.
So the ridership is going up, and he's going to slash your service. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
August ridership came in at 5.5 million rides, which was about the same as August of 2024. So while the overall ridership was flat for August, our weekly bus ridership was up 4.7% compared.
So the weekly bus ridership is up 5%, and they're going to cut the bus service. Brilliant.
To last year. So transitioning as we work close, we are working on our $300 million budget gap that I've provided to you.
It's too bad they don't show us any evidence of how they came up with that number. Of course they're not going to. They're just going to announce it's 300 million. It's exactly 300 million, and we're not going to show you any evidence as to how we came up with that number. We're not going to tell you because it's fake. It's just some number that they have, along with all the other transit districts who at the same time have declared a fiscal cliff, all by coincidence, no doubt, that they all came to a fiscal cliff at the same time. While our federal government has decided to spend $100 billion on ICE harassing gardeners and car wash workers, and $1 trillion on the military, which is only to start wars in other places. We're not defending ourselves. Everybody should know that by now. So you're being scammed at every level of our government here. It's just a giant scam. They don't expect you to connect the dots, and most people won't.
And our efforts for additional funding at the state level has been put on pause. You heard it earlier from Director Flowers. I'm sure by now you've seen that the special session vote in the legislature has been postponed until next week. But we still remain very hopeful about the passage of an increase in the STIF. While it's only a temporary increase, its approval would buy us more time.
It's only a temporarily. He can't speak. How about a general manager that knows how to speak properly?
To work with lawmakers on a steady, permanent increase in transit funding. So we've already.
And they're going to steal that money from all the Oregonians who are already struggling. It's coming out of your payroll tax, which means you're going to get less money. You're going to get paid less money because the employers are not going to. They're not going to eat that. They're going to pass it along. You're going to get less raises. All of these tax increases hasten the end of our society. Along with the price increases, the utility increases, everything is going up, and this leads to a depression. Okay, that's where we're headed. Don't be shocked when it happens.
Begun reducing expenses on our administrative side of the organization. But today, our focus is on the service cuts ahead and the difficult steps that we need to take. And as Director Flowers said earlier, I do want to say to all of you that this is very impactful on me as the leader of this organization.
Yeah, very impactful. You're a psychopath. You don't care about any of this. You would have taken a pay cut. You would have voluntarily said, I'm going to take a pay cut here in solidarity with the cuts. But you didn't do that. You just didn't take a raise, which we're supposed to think that's some kind of act of altruism. No, it's not. You're already among the highest paid general managers in the country. I know that for a fact.
Organization on this board that's up here, and then all of our employees. Any cut is impactful to us. So I want to make sure that the public hear that loud and clear as we move forward. Very difficult for us.
Yeah, sure.
We know that every service cut, no matter how small, affects someone, no matter what. But to lessen the impact on our staff, our riders, and a greater community, TriMet will make smaller service cuts to start. And this approach really provides us with some additional time to work with our riders and really learn how we can best serve them going forward. So this morning,
we're going to learn how we can best serve you going forward. At the same time, we're cutting your service. So he's just giving you a perfect psyop. We want to help you, but we're going to cut you. So don't listen. Make sure you don't listen.
I have our Director of Mobility and Planning and Policy, Tom Mills, and Jennifer Kuzer, our TriMet Director.
But that Mills left. I guess he ended up not going. I thought he got another job.
Of Community Affairs and Engagement to really talk about what...
The Director of Community Cares and Engagement. Well, that's what a great position. Can't get rid of that, huh? Put that money into service. No.
Is planned and the potential cuts that we may be facing. So Tom and Jennifer, I'll yield the floor to you. But what I do want to say to the board is we're going to look at the outreach plan as well as we go out and meet with our community and how.
And we saw this before with the fare increase. 99% said no. They went ahead and did it anyway. And that's what's going to happen here. So, it's all garbage. You're wasting your time talking to them. They've already made the decision. The decision will be implemented by the Sock Puppet Board.
How we will be soliciting feedback from the public on the potential cuts coming late next year and the year after. So Tom and Jennifer, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning. Let's go to the next slide. We started communicating with our riders about potential service cuts in July. This slide shows an excerpt from the email that went to our subscribers. We let people know that without additional revenues and with rising costs, there's a need for service cuts beginning in November of 2025, with more to follow. Next slide. This slide shows the cuts that will begin November 30th, 2025 and March 1st, 2026. We'll be reducing frequency on a handful of lines during lower ridership times. In November, this affects 5 lines. On FX2 division, before 7 a.m. and after 7 p.m., buses will be arriving every 24 to 35 minutes. On lines 35, 52, 77, and 81, buses after 9 p.m. will be arriving hourly.
Terrible.
In March 2026, we'll make similar frequency reductions on 4 more lines, lines 8, 48, 75, and 76.
Terrible.
The details on that will be available in January.
Awful.
These initial cuts are smaller than what we had talked about in that July announcement.
Hope you like this, Patrick, the guy that always appears on my Twitter feed, friend of Lane's, who defends the honor of TriMet, kind of like Jason does.
So small that they don't require an ordinance. But as Sam said, every cut is significant to the riders who depend on that service.
Oh, shit. There are a lot.
For the more substantial cuts that need to be made, we'll be doing extensive analysis and community engagement to help inform these more impactful decisions.
Yeah, sure.
That outreach process starts today when we launch an online survey and share information.
We're going to take your feedback so that you can waste your time. We've already decided what we're going to do, but we're going to pretend that we're getting your feedback because it's important that we pretend this. Okay.
About open houses. Next slide. We'll be asking riders about the types of service cuts that could be considered. We're asking riders to rank 9 general types.
They've turned this whole thing into a way they can make money off bureaucracy. Okay, they're making the payroll doing this when they already know what they're going to do. Just like Agenda 2030. Oh, we're going to spend 3 years talking about that, and then we're just going to change it, and nobody's going to ask a single question. Why? Just some obscure guy who's been a pain in our ass for 20 fucking years.
Of cuts. Starting with these concepts or themes will help Tom's team develop a more specific proposal that reflects our riders' values and priorities.
Oh, sure.
In this process, we'll discuss some of the primary concepts involved with distributing service. How often trains and buses run or frequency, the hours and days of service or span, and where service runs or coverage. In addition to TriMet service, we'll be asking riders about TriMet funding toward partner services. That is, counties operating shuttles and other smaller transit agencies that have connections into our district. And it's also important for people to know, as you heard from the CAT committee, that reducing fixed route service impacts the availability of Lyft paratransit service. One of the 9 types of cuts we're asking about is potentially shortening the Green Line, as was noted in that July announcement.
Why not?
But other than that, the types of cuts we're asking about are broader, more conceptual.
Go back to the red line between the airport and the goddamn gateway. It was all fucking fake psyop that you get, and a pork barrel that you could money launder tax funds into contractors' pockets. We know that. Some of us know this.
We're not getting into specific lines or trips for this phase. And as part of this exercise, we'll indicate the relative savings and impacts of each type of cut. Next slide. This slide shows an excerpt from the online survey that shows how we'll use a $ icon to indicate the potential savings from each type of cut and a person icon to indicate the potential impact on ride adoption.
Move it along.
So that's Spanish, Vietnamese, cheering at your March 25th.
I'm not going to listen.
Increases or reduces.
I want to emphasize that with cuts of this scale, we know this is going to be a very difficult process with some difficult outcomes.
No kidding.
We'll be providing multiple spaces for dialogue to help inform these tough decisions, but we know this is not going to be easy for many of our riders. So Tom and I are available now for questions you may have about the process for outreach and the service cuts.
General Manager, can we take questions at this time? Okay, questions? Director Graham?
The general manager, you're supposed to be in charge, you stupid. You're the people that are in charge, not the general manager. But they just proved again that who's in charge there. General manager, can we ask questions?
Thank you, and thank you for laying out the process.
Let's listen to a new puppet I've never heard before.
I had a couple of questions. One is, could you talk a little bit about how the Title VI analysis plays into this process?
Sure, I'd be happy to talk about that. The
whole fake Title VI, another level of useless bureaucracy that does nothing. Why do they still have that? Why doesn't Trump get rid of, at least he could get rid of that. I mean, he's dismantling everything else. Get rid of that. Doesn't do anything.
Our Title VI policy is that a reduction or an increase in service that either reduces the length of a line by 15% or more, or increases or reduces the, I believe it's the revenue hours. Revenue hours is every hour a bus is actually in service serving people. If that exceeds 15%, positive or negative, we must do a Title VI analysis. And just for those who in the audience who may not be aware, Title VI is the federal law ensuring that we don't overserve or underserve low-income communities or communities of color. And so if we are under that 15% threshold in either of those categories, whether the line length or the amount of
Support this process, and I don't know what that looks like, but happy to work with you and the CAT to figure
Listen to your
a little bit under the threshold.
I don't care. Shut up.
Other comments? Director Kellogg?
Thank you.
Mr.
On one of your
Killamore.
slides, you had that we were going to do outreach in every district.
I don't want to hear about it.
Instagram management team here at TriMet, they do a great
This is the cool guy. They got a cool guy on the board.
job. They create reels and videos that get
Yeah, shut up.
with staff to streamline the executive team. I made a commitment to TriMet employees that change it will start at the top.
Yeah,
These
sure.
changes to our executive team aren't just good, they're great as we move forward.
Great.
And
Great.
they've helped us to really set up for
Great.
organizational success for years to come.
He just reconfigured the management he configured. Okay, he's the one that set up the management the way it is now, and now he's reconfiguring his whole configuration, and he's patting himself on the back for it. And we're listening to this garbage, and somehow we're buying it. No, I'm not buying it.
So the decisions I've made gave way to an opportunity for two hardworking, dedicated women that's part of our team. So I would like to introduce to the board TriMet's new chief
I don't want to see it.
excited to continue working with.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, you're great.
both of these leaders here.
They're fucking.
To the analysis, first and foremost, you may remember that the analysis lagged
All right, I think we've had
employers
enough
like
of this.
Intel due to updated.
I'm not listening.
Mayor Wilson, you'll see him there in the
Oh, yeah,
picture.
get
Chief
the
Day,
police state. All
County
right.
Sheriff's Department
I
is in
can't
the
take
lead
it.
position.
All right, that is officially my last board meeting that I'm ever going to watch again.